Well, here's a story from the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Rebbe of Chabad. The third Rebbe of Chabad was a very holy person, and he was a tremendous Torah scholar. All of the other great scholars of the time would consult and ask him for his advice and his decisions. But he also did some very amazing miracles, and a lot of those miracles dealt with abandoned wives. In Judaism, there's a lot of strange laws in Judaism, and some of them seem to be very sort of, you say, cruel. And one of those laws is the law of an abandoned wife. What's the law of an abandoned wife? So, first of all, let's just say in general, a lot of the laws seem to be very cruel. It's true. But on the other hand, life is very cruel. Life in general is very cruel. And a lot of very difficult things. And, life is filled with pain, and every life ends with death. So all these things are not, so misfortune and uncomfortable things is part of life. And it's no difference in Judaism. And there's a lot of things that happen to us that we cannot explain. We can't explain, no way of explaining. And the same thing is in the Torah. So here we've got one law in the Torah which is not explainable, and that is the law of what's called an aguna. An aguna is a woman whose husband is lost. Nobody knows where he is. If he's dead, if he ran away, no one knows. But if you're not sure that he's dead, then the wife can never get married. The only way that she can get married is to find him, or either one of two ways: to find witnesses that say that he's dead, or to find him and convince him to write a bill of divorce. That's it. There's no other way. He has to either write a bill of divorce or he has to die. And then she's free. But if a man decides to be cruel, so he can just run away, and that's it. His wife is stuck. She can never get married. Never get married. According to Judaism, she can never marry anybody for the rest of her life because nobody knows where he is, if he's alive or not. Okay, so it happened to be that there was such a woman that came to the Tzemach Tzedek. And poor lady, an aguna, her husband ran away and left her, and he left her with a couple of children, and she has to provide for the children. And how is she going to do it? She has to provide for the children, and she also has to babysit for the children. She has to work. So the Tzemach Tzedek gave her, or ordered that she be given work to work in the kitchen. So she worked in the kitchen by the Tzemach Tzedek, and the children were, there. They were in the area where the Tzemach Tzedek was. So the Chassidim watched over children or their wives, whatever. And things worked out. But meanwhile, she is an aguna. She's what's called an estranged wife. So regularly, the Chassidim would say, when the Rebbe would do some sort of a miracle to find a husband, a lost husband, or to get somebody would find out that the husband was dead or whatever, amazing stories. So they would suggest, what about the what about the woman in the kitchen? And the Tzemach Tzedek would always say, the time will come, don't worry. Time will come. Okay, really, what happened to this lady? What happened to the I have to think about how to tell the story. 1 second. Okay. So really, what happened to her husband? What happened? Her husband decided one day that he had enough of Judaism, enough of the laws. He ran away to some place, and Russia is huge. He ran away to some place, and he established himself there. And he got married to a non-Jewish woman, and he made investments, and he became like a baron, the place where he was. He was very, very rich, had a huge house, had all sorts of servants, big factory, making things, succeeding. right? And made big parties and everything like that. And so he was having a good time, right? Having a good time. And he was lost. He was lost. He was far away from his wife. Okay. And so one day, this man, the husband that ran away, he's walking down the street, right? Like the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo. There was a song, happy as could possibly be, happy as could be. He's all of his pleasures are satisfied, all of this. And suddenly an old man comes up to him in the street, an old Jewish man with a white beard, and he raises up a cane and he says, go back to your wife. If you don't, I'm going to hit you with this cane. And he left. So the man said, what was that? What was that? In the middle of the day. It happens that no one else was around, so he didn't see. So he thought, maybe it was some sort of a dream or a imagination, or, he did feel a little bit bad about leaving his wife. Not really, but maybe that popped up, They didn't think anything about it. He said the next day, a couple of days later, he's walking down the street again, and this time in the evening, and all of a sudden this man comes to him again. He's dressed in white, got a beard, a Jew, and he raised up the cane and said, I told you, leave this town, go back to your wife. Either divorce her or change your ways. And if you don't, I'm going to hit you with this cane. And he lifted it up, and he was so frightened and scary. The man gave out a scream, a yell, like that, and the man disappeared. So he came home, he was all shaken, drank himself a big cup of brandy, and he went to sleep. But now it's really starting to worry him. He saw this person twice, and the person is threatening him, and he's telling him to go back to his home, which he had almost forgotten about. And he didn't know who to talk to. Who was he going to tell about this, right? Everybody thinks he's the big baron. He's there's nobody. Not going to go to the priest, tell the priest about it. To that degree. He's walking down the street another time, and this man comes up and he said, I told you, leave. And he starts hitting him with this cane. He says, no, don't do it anymore. I'll leave. And sure enough, that very evening, the early next morning, he packed up a little bag and he left all of his money with his wife, left a letter that all of my money belongs to you and my sons, and this will last you for the rest of time. And he left with his bag. He took a little bit of money with him, whatever it was. Anyway, so he's traveling around the river. Now he's thinking to himself, how am I going to find my wife? Where am I going to find her? Where could it be? And so this part of the story was not exactly clear to me. But in any case, finally he figures out somehow or other that his wife is, that's what, he goes back to his original town and asks where she is, where's my wife? And they told her that she went to the city of Lubavitch. And that's where she's at. So he figures, okay, he's going to go to his wife, and he'll request forgiveness, and he'll ask her what she wants. If she wants to get divorced, he'll give her a divorce bill. If he wants to come back, whatever he wants. Meanwhile, he's been, dragging his feet. In the beginning, he had money, but maybe some of it he lost, or some got stolen, whatever it is, and he hasn't eaten for a long time. He was, used to be heavy, and all of his clothes are all dirty, and he's used to be clean shaven and looked nice. Now he's got a beard. He's been wandering around already for 2 months, however long. And he gets to Lubavitch, comes to the city of Lubavitch, and people say, what do you want? He says, well, what is there here in Lubavitch? They said, well, there's the Rebbe. There's the Rebbe of Lubavitch. Would you like to see him? Here, you wash yourself up. They took him to a place. He washed himself up. He took him. The Rebbe will come out to pray. The Rebbe came out of his room, to go in to pray in the synagogue. He saw the Rebbe and he passed out. They brought him back. They didn't know if he died. He had a heart attack, whatever. They brought him. He said, what happened? He said, that's the man that I saw back home. That's the man that I saw. He was the man that came to me and threatened me. Eventually, they met him up with his wife. She forgave him. He came back to Judaism again. So we see that somehow or other that Tzemach Tzedek had the ability to throw himself from where he was to another place physically. He actually hit him with the stick in order to bring a husband back to his wife. And so it will be with also the Jewish people, that Hashem has apparently distanced himself from us. But if we look and we see, it's not really so. The Rebbe is here. Here it sort of changes a little bit. The story, you can fit it in yourself. But the Rebbe, he's the one that's making this, bringing the whole marriage back together. That was on Mount Sinai. God got married to us, to make this marriage come back together. And in this case, we're the ones that are sort of, how do you say, not haven't acted properly, and we'll change our priorities, and it'll be a happy, eternal wedding between God and the Jewish people and the world. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, see you all tomorrow at 8:15 sharp. Thank you for coming.